So they're threatening me.
Hi, Chrislings. Ooh, it's been a short minute, eh? I took a little break. Watched Bridgerton, played some Baldur's Gate, did a bunch of social, and tried to decompress. I also kept up with what's been happening with this situation, because of course I did. So here's the current state of affairs as I know them. And then we'll get into some of Alicia's recent content decisions as an amuse-bouche to tide you over. But first, commentary channels. Beginning with Oh Lordy, It's Geordie. Last week, Geordie's main channel was reinstated and the copyright strikes were dropped by Sun and Sky Entertainment, the Dougherty Dozen's management company. In his update stream, Geordie spilled the tea and showed the email he'd received from Sun and Sky's legal counsel. Turns out, I also received that email, word for word. Obviously, this email did not go over well with this community or girl world for that matter. Firstly, because that email was nuts and just chock full of false allegations. And secondly, because it's literally an intimidation form letter. Classy. Now, Geordie's live stream leaking this email would result in Sun and Sky's counsel threatening to sue him for defamation, claiming that he doxed her or something, even though he didn't.
They like to throw around that defamation word. I would really, really love to see how you can prove a defamation case against someone who has never been named. You know, it's like a defamation case because I showed an email that had your name taken off of it.
She even demanded that he remove the live stream or else.
Given the gravity of these statements and actions, I demand the following action within 2 days from the date of this letter. So what is that? Sunday? Removal of the video. Immediate removal of the live stream and the video in which these statements were made. Take it down. Delete it.
And he replied very sassily, "You're a joke. Stop emailing me," which was perfection. Anyway, Sun and Sky's counsel gave him until end of day Sunday, which was Father's Day, to comply with her demands. He did not. So we'll see if he receives anything by registered mail in the coming week or so. And I gotta say, for a company that specializes in social media, they really don't seem to understand social media. Interesting. Anyway, Snarky Bish is in a similar boat to Geordie, in that she's presumably also waiting for the other shoe to drop. Her deadline for her copyright counterclaim was last Friday. She ended up being induced last Wednesday and presumably delivered her baby on Thursday, hopefully? Seriously, Snarky, I hope your delivery went super smoothly because inductions are... As such, she hasn't updated us yet on what's going on with her, and I don't expect she will for at least another week or two, if not more. But out of all of us, I would say that Snarky is currently the biggest question mark. Presumably, she did not agree to Sun and Sky's very manipulative terms, so it's anyone's guess if they actually filed or not. As they took Geordie's response, I don't feel like covering Alicia Dougherty right now to mean that he agreed to their terms.
So I tell them that. I say, honestly, I don't even really feel like making videos about her. They emailed back to me and said, thank you for confirming. Basically what they said was, I took their deal. I accepted their little threat right here. Where they said, you can stop doing all this. Don't share this letter with the public, yada, yada, yada. So they confirmed that. But all I said back to them was, I don't really feel like making videos about her. That's all I said. So, you know what? Maybe in a couple weeks, maybe I will feel like making a video. Just when I sent this email back to them, I said I didn't feel like it. But you know, like Chantal says, you can change your mind.
Which, by the way, is absolutely problematic and seems to confirm that this was done to silence criticism, in my opinion, which is based on the emails Jordy was sent and all the emails that were sent to me and my lawyer. I've also been in semi-steady communication with the Dad Challenge podcast. He's actually the one who let me know about Jordy's first live stream showing the email, because I had told DCP that I received a messed up email from Sun and Sky's lawyer the week before, and it turns out it was the same one. Which was a big piss off, by the way. You owe me money, Alicia and Dougherty.
10 minutes when you shoot again. I swear, Mom,
in my head.
Now, from the get, Josh has been pretty certain that Sun and Sky and Alicia Dougherty wouldn't file for a copyright lawsuit because they've never followed through with any of their threats of litigation against him. Theoretically, he's the fish they'd want to go after and not little channels like me and Snarky or even Amy and Jordy for that matter. And while that's very likely true, that this is just posturing for the sake of posturing, I've also looked into Sun and Sky's lawsuits, and they absolutely are petty enough to file. In fact, they have filed several copyright lawsuits in the past. They also have no problem filing and losing, and they really do seem to have no issue with wasting money and the court's time to pressure others if it gets them what they want. Allegedly, in my opinion, whatever. I mean, if the emails are any indication, they very much are comfortable with using sharp business practices to bully and intimidate others. Again, just my very personal opinion based on my interactions with them. I don't know, maybe I'm being a Debbie Downer, maybe I'm just jaded.
It's hard not to feel deflated when even your best isn't good enough.
Either way, for someone like me who doesn't have a big enough following to make this worth fighting for in court, I wasn't really interested in playing chicken with what I'll just call stereotypical Americans, as culturally Canadians are a lot more cautious about this sort of thing, and I'd much rather err on the side of caution than disrupt my family, because that's what's at stake here. My home, my family's stability, things that you would think Alicia Dougherty would be empathetic towards, you know, mother to mother. I guess only one of us has empathy for the other. Well, not so much now, as I am quite happy to get out my marshmallows and make s'mores.
This is just a reminder that, contrary to what you might believe, I'm actually a human being, and I have feelings.
As for Amy Robinson, she also made an update video where she explained that her first appeal was bounced back. This wasn't surprising when she first told me, as my first appeal was as well, and according to Jordy, a few of his were too. And he had the lion's share of claims at a staggering 19 between his two channels. By my count, at least 27 copyright claims were issued by the Dougherty Dozen and their management company. I received 3, Snarky 4, Amy at least 1, and 19 for Jordy. And as Sun and Sky said to me in email, they, quote, did not seek to claim copyright, end quote. Instead, they decided to backpedal and intimidate people, I guess. The good news is that Amy can reappeal. The problem is, if she does appeal, there's a good chance that she'll get the same strong arm tactics that we did, which is definitely a good look, BT dubs. Definitely keep that up. Not gonna backfire at all. Finally, I want to touch on something Zachary Michael aptly pointed out in his recent video. Also, I need to gush for a second. I love Zachary Michael. I've been a fan of his for years, and it's been just so delightful to watch his reactions to the Dougherty Dozen.
I forgot to get that out. But
Ma'am!
it's almost like a,
I just continue to be like, is this the vibes? Like, just let me know. We're learning together. Is this the vibes of an Alicia video where, like, the reason that it's so long is because she forgets to take things out or forgets to do things or doesn't know what the recipe actually says, and so it's just her trying to think her way through it because she hasn't had enough coffee yet this morning.
Just two worlds colliding in such a wonderful way. I love it so much. I love it. I love it. Zach, please keep covering the Dougherty Dozen. Your reactions are giving me life.
Girl, why are you holding the knife like that? Be careful!
Anyway, in his recent video on the situation, Zach astutely said that this is a massive power imbalance for a creator with 1.5 million subscribers to target tiny channels like mine and threaten litigation and use strong arm tactics is a bad look. It's crazy.
But I think Snarky Bish and Curse Eye are the biggest examples of like the power differential going on here. Cursed Eye has 3.37 thousand subscribers, and Snarky Bish has 5.98 thousand subscribers. So we're talking about people who have like the smallest percentage fraction of viewers, whatever the math word is, in comparison to Alicia. 1.53 million subscribers to somebody who has 6,000 subscribers, 3,000 subscribers. Like, she's literally clearly looking through the weeds to get like even the smallest amount of criticism hidden away through these false copyright strike allegations.
And it speaks volumes about the Dougherty Dozen and their management company if they're willing to be this petty over videos with less than 10,000 views on them. It's absolutely, in my very biased opinion, to try and stifle criticism, point blank period. Otherwise, why do it? What are they getting out of this outside of silencing people? Now, Sun and Sky will say that it's to, quote, protect their clients' rights, end quote, which is nice on paper, but they're doing it at the cost of our rights, which isn't how a fair democracy works. Individualistic values do not supersede what is right and what is wrong. Fair use commentary is protected in the Canadian and US constitutions, and abusing YouTube's tools and terms of service to bully and blackmail those commentary channels is extremely unethical. Sorry. As for me, I've just been sitting back and waiting to see how things pan out, as there are multiple paths to victory here. And when outsiders, like Zachary Michael, who's a sweetheart, by the way, are saying the same things we're saying, that's a big red flag. And in my opinion, if Sun and Sky were engaging in fair and lawful business practices like they claim, they wouldn't be so bothered by Jordy exposing them. After all, only hit dogs holler.
They go on to say, this has already caused confusion and concern, leading my clients to question my credentials and express doubt about my ability to practice law.
So what does this mean for the future? Well, the way I see it, there's a few paths forward. 1. Alicia Dougherty and Sun and Sky issue private apologies to all of us and quietly slink back into the shadows where they belong, which is pretty unlikely. 2. Alicia Dougherty makes a public apology and a promise to do better and then follows through. Also pretty unlikely. 3. Alicia Dougherty fires Sun and Sky Entertainment and then apologizes to everyone. Probably unlikely, but possible. 4. Alicia Dougherty and Sun and Sky keep on keeping on, keep abusing the content ID tool, and we escalate our complaints and we see what happens moving forward. Very likely because ego. 5. Alicia Dougherty and Sun and Sky sue all of us in an expensive and protracted, multifaceted lawsuit that wastes everyone's time and tanks her public image worse than Lauren the Mortician. Also possible. 6. Alicia Dougherty focuses on improving her content and renewing her flagging platform, and they ignore this entire situation and the creators who make commentary about her. Also possible, but probably not gonna happen. Roll a d6, folks, and let me know what you got in the comments. Which do you think will happen? Moving on, Alicia is back with more mini fridges to restock. We got a mini fridge by the pool, and for Father's Day, she got Josh a beer fridge, also by the pool. Now, someone explain to me why that man needs this many alcoholic beverages that are easily accessed by their kids. You know, the kids with fetal alcohol syndrome disorder and addictive personalities and ADHD and also, you know, just general teenagers in their house. I'll wait.
Because these children they were predisposed to addiction in utero. And basically for the rest of their life, they will always have to watch for things that they could be addicted to. And I'm not talking just food. I mean, it could be video games or drugs, cigarettes, alcohol, really anything that anybody can get addicted to. These children have more of a chance to become addicted to it.
I've said it before. I don't care if Alicia and Josh drink alcohol, as once those kids grow up and leave their house, they'll be exposed to it in the wild anyway. It's how they do it that annoys me and the rest of the internet. This is irresponsible, especially when in the past Alicia has said that they had to lock up booze because it kept going missing.
In case you're wondering why I have White Claw in my bedroom, I can't keep it in the garage anymore. It was just like disappearing. I don't know. Suspicious activity. So now it has to get locked in my room. Not when everyone keeps their White Claw.
Also, I don't know of anyone who isn't an alcoholic who purchases the amount of alcohol that these two buy. I had a friend in high school whose parents were alcoholics. Their garage where they would drink, their workshop, it looked like this. Like the number of cases of booze, that's what it looked like for them. Just saying. If anything, this is actually reminding me of 2020, 2021, when they'd come home with a buttload of booze for the week, also known as the White Claw era.
Oh, it's 5 o'clock. Candace, you ready? Martina, you ready?
Now, people on Reddit have voiced concerns over the amount of alcohol in the house. This person even shared their story as someone with FSAD who became an alcoholic in adulthood. Others were also concerned that having that much booze around would be a problem for when Alex's mom came up for his graduation, as she's now sober. Whether or not it will actually be a problem for her, who can say? What I can say is that a lot of people are scratching their heads with this fridge restock. Granted, people have been scratching their heads about all the restock videos for a while now because they're just very unnecessary and clearly being done for content. Like this mini fridge restock where each kid got one of Josh's so-called favorite snacks. Now, if this wasn't content, Alicia would stock each fridge with a combination of those snacks, something balanced that would make sense. But that doesn't have the same shock value as shoving a ton of candy into a mini fridge for a 5-year-old. So I guess I need to adjust my expectations here and embrace the dumpster fire decision making. Burn, baby, burn, I guess. Finally, we have this TikTok.
This is your man.
Yes.
Look at the screen.
That's mine.
And that's what you're going to settle for.
I'm going to stick beside him.
Which was a subtle read to her anti-community and their speculations about Josh and his seemingly minimal presence in their home, as frequently Josh has been away and even missed birthday events due to work.
So Josh's birthday is today as well. He's 45 today. However, this is vlog because you won't see Josh today. My husband works a lot. He teaches all day, special education at the high school, and then you might see him when he stops home for his between jobs. Then he coaches the high school track team, and they have a track meet today. So he's gonna be there. It's an away meet. It's 45 minutes away. He's not gonna get home till 11:30, close to midnight. That happens a couple times a week during the winter.
And when he is around and featured in her content, he seems to be disconnected.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Now, I do have a question for Alicia Dougherty and Sun and Sky about this TikTok/YouTube short, because that's Dr. Phil's voice. Did they get his permission to use his copyrighted material? Also, do you consider that transformative enough to be considered fair use?
And that's what you're going to settle for.
I'm going to stick beside him.
Or should Dr. Phil and his network's legal department reach out to you with threats of litigation? I'm just wondering, because your legal counsel told me and Jordy that our content does not serve any educational purpose to be considered fair use. Do you think this is educational? Or even fair use for that matter? I'm just trying to understand. Also, what about all the copyrighted music you use in your shorts and TikToks, like Dolly Parton's 9 to 5? Or this TikTok, which used audio from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
How many are there? 36. Counted them myself.
36, but last year I had 37.
Funny how the rules your lawyer invented and imposed onto us don't apply to you. But we're told we're not respecting the law and could be sued for breaking copyright if we didn't agree to your ridiculous terms. Do us all a favor, Alicia, and get your house in order. As for this, no comment. I'll leave that for the others to speculate about what's going on there. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fridge loaded with alcohol behind him, and the red on his face is probably a sunburn. Anyway, that's it for me. I want to thank everyone for liking, commenting, and subscribing, with big thanks to Zachary Michael for the shout out and to my members. You guys rock, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!